It's Accountech Bytes, your miniature meander through the moments in accounting tech this week with me, Tom Herbert. Thanks for tuning in, and if you find this useful, please like, subscribe, or follow. Let's get straight into the news, shall we? And let's start with a slightly bizarre case shared by tax expert and friend of the show, Dan Needle, who appears to have his very own AI-generated doppelganger in the form of YouTube page Tax Information, which appears to have spun up a likeness using AI, impersonating him to dish out some frankly pretty bizarre tax advice on YouTube. Let's take a quick watch.
Ignoring a ticking time bomb. Now, if you're self-employed, things ramp up in complexity. 2026 brings stricter deadlines and more emphasis on digital submission. Your first move should be calculating your projected income for the year.
So as you can see there, it's all a bit weird, but nothing particularly dangerous that I spotted. But as AI improves, it's increasingly likely that deepfakes like this could be used to more nefarious ends. This is obviously impersonation. I reported it to YouTube yesterday. I know of a dozen people who've done the same, and YouTube don't seem to have done anything about it. As a publisher, AccountingWEB would get absolutely hammered for doing something like this, but YouTube seems to be able to get around this, dodge any liabilities. Now, the first 141 episodes of this show didn't feature Dan Needle, but similar to London Buses, we have two Dans in a row on episode 142. Here, Dan has flagged an interesting tax case where a firm of chartered accountants appears to have used AI to prepare a taxpayer's appeal. Now, the firm in question has neither confirmed nor denied if they used AI, but as the judge says here, the appeal argument contains summaries of, but no direct quotes from, 5 cases that were put forward to support their argument. All a bit weird, and another one in the growing pantheon of you should probably check AI's output before you use it. Now, before Christmas, I covered Xero's overhaul of how third-party apps are charged for connecting to its accounting platform. This has generated a lot of debate in the vendor community, prompting this piece about who owns the accounting data and whether putting a moat around it may lead to rising software firms and stifling innovation in the market. Kind of related to that last one, Xero CEO Sukhinder Singh Cassidy has posted about the reality versus the hype of AI. So what is Xero doing with this, and how does that tie in with its acquisitions of Sift Analytics and Melio over the past 2 years? To boil it down, Sukhinder says that Xero is building a platform that does not just hold your transaction data, it understands it, illuminates the path forward, and helps you take the step. Zut alors, we have some acquisition news now, and Sage has bought French end-to-end digital invoicing solution Account, as our friends across the channel prepare to navigate the imminent e-invoicing reforms. The Register has a report about a criminal who hacked more than 50 organizations. What do they all have in common? They didn't turn their multi-factor authentication on. Open Banking Expo carries a press release from Modular stating that the payments firm has launched into the United States via a partnership with fintech company FIS. Enterprise Software Express has an interesting piece on Avalara's potential journey back to the public markets. So the tax software outfit was originally listed, was bought by private equity a couple of years ago, and now appears to be heading back to the public markets following an agentic AI pivot. A quick update from the Register's Lindsay Clark on the ongoing debacle around Birmingham City Council's rollout of Oracle Fusion. It was meant to go live in 2022, went horribly wrong, left the authority unable to produce auditable accounts, and contributed to it becoming effectively bankrupt. The cost of the project has gone from 19 million to around 130. The latest phase was due to go live in April, but has now been bumped back to the summer. And the Register also carries another Fujitsu story, definitely not friends of the show. So the IT giant pledged to restrict public sector tendering during the inquiry into their involvement in the Post Office Horizon scandal, but that hasn't stopped them winning a place on a UK government framework worth almost £1 billion. A bit of people news, and iPlicit has appointed an education sector specialist, so Sam Curtis takes on the newly created role at iPlicit for Education, which is a subsidiary of the main brand and serves multi-academy trusts across the UK and Ireland. Let's head over to MTD Corner now. It's been a while since we dropped into HMRC's Making Tax Digital software page. We've had quite a few new additions to the list since I last covered it, and Coconut appears to have gone part Spanish in order to get to the top of the list. You got to give them credit for trying, but HMRC should really do something about this and Untied too, because it doesn't do a lot for the credibility of it all. Anyway, new tools on the list include Accountech, which looks like it's for individuals. Taxed, again, looks like an individual tax product. Confirmation that digital banks Monzo and Starling will have Making Tax Digital offering. Rental Bucks has MTD software for landlords. And Key Infinity's Landmark Systems seems to have farming specific MTD software. Let's get to the fab plug now, and our very own finance, accounting and bookkeeping show will be live at the NEC in Birmingham 11th and 12th of March 2026. It's free for finance professionals, accountants and bookkeepers to attend. Get your tickets at fab.uk and come along to sessions like this. The incomparable Amy Copeland, together with Karen Garrity, Ruben Steenkamp and Sarah Douglas, we'll be discussing AI and bookkeeping, so what artificial intelligence can and cannot do, and hopefully debunking the myth of full automation replacing bookkeeping professionals. Fab.uk for your ticket. Let's round the show off with some product updates, and in Dext you can now use more flags to organize items in your cost and sales inboxes, making it easier to sort and prioritize work. And in its Dext Solo product, report drill downs now show a single centralized list of the underlying transactions in one screen. In Accounts Receivable app Adfin, you can now set default payment workflows per customer, so you can control how Adfin collects payments without your team having to decide every time. So you can set auto collect or on demand as a default. Did I cover this last time? I can't remember. Anyway, they have a reusable direct debit mandate link for customer signups as well. An update from Ash Beaton here. Fixed asset tool NetTracker has been rebuilt around how UK accounting firms and growing businesses now work. Along with the key changes listed here, Ash states that NetTracker is no longer positioned as a year-end tool. It's designed for firms delivering monthly management accounts, managing outsourced finance functions, and working with asset-heavy clients. Interesting piece from our friends at ICAW Insights on the 5 biggest software adoption pitfalls. These include failing to form an exit strategy for the chosen product, not considering cybersecurity, falling prey to sales patter, and overlooking questions around data accessibility and backups. Relevant. And if you're a podcasty kind of person, why not check out our latest edition of No Accounting for Taste, where myself, Richard Hattersley, and Matthew Ord discuss the upcoming self-assessment season, ACCA pulling the plug on remote exams, and 2 former Carillion FDs being fined. And with self-assessment season well and truly upon us, I found this on Reddit that will hopefully raise a smile, if not an ironic grimace. Good luck out there. And that's your lot for today. Thank you very much for watching. As always, if you could like, follow, or subscribe, I'd be eternally grateful. And why not sign up for my Thursday email to keep up to date with the fast-moving world of accounting technology? Visit the link, pop your address in the box, hit the yellow button, and you're signed up. I'll be back next week with another video. Bye for now.